Well, g'day, Fishos, Fishery Report Friday. Here we go. What's happening? Plenty's happening. I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet because the algorithm on Instagram last week bugging me up. But anyway, so let's get into it. In the estuary, what's happening in the estuary? Still some good flatties about. Spoke to Jack Hammond during the week. He got some absolute beauties. He got one on a fly rod, actually, which I'm pretty jealous of. 95 centimetres on a fly rod. That's an exceptional fish. That is for sure. So still some really, really good flatties. I think I mentioned it before. I don't mind March, April. I reckon it's a good time to target big lizards before we get into winter, especially before we get into those southwest winds. I reckon they sort of move about after that. But this time of year, water's still warm, 22.5, 23 degrees inside the bay, ready to rock. So plenty of lizards around. Pete's been getting them as well. And his young fella, they've been smashing them on the plastics land-based up around Corlett through to Nelson Bay. That lower half of the estuary is the one for flatties at the moment. A few mulloway about as well. Speaking of Matt, he got some nice ones on the soft plastics. I believe he's fishing the breakwell on the tide change after dark, getting some nice mulloway. I think we threw a photo up there last night on Instagram. So some mulloway about in the bay at the moment, and so it should be. I think we'll see the start of the mullet run this week with some southwest winds coming into Sunday. So that'll get things stirred up with the mulloway, especially inside the bay. So worth a shot on the mulloway. We're off the new moon now. Tides are getting smaller, so fishing should get better inside the bay at the moment. Pelagic action's still there. So those frigates, those little Mac tunas, the bonito, Watson's leaving bonito, all those tuna species, the odd longtail, I wouldn't say they're there in numbers, the odd longtail. Spoke to Paul off Fishport Stevens Estuary Charters yesterday. He said he's seen the odd one, but they're not hitting their straps yet. They're still obviously ocean moving at the moment, but that sou'wester could get them in the bay anytime soon. So keep an eye out on the longtails inside the bay at the moment. Now down the breakwell, interesting, down the breakwell, there's been a few small amberjack inside the marina there. There's been kingies. So the breakwell's fishing pretty well. Lots of bait down there, lots of herring, so getting things stirred up. I know the kids have been nailing our bait jigs in the shop here and catching those herring, using them for live bait and whatever else. They're good on brim and flatties as well, so lots of herring down there. Now down at Shoal Bay, off the wharf there, the garfish have begun as well, so lots of garries getting around the wharf there. So at the moment, if you're keen on doing that, incoming tide, a little bit of burley will get the garries moving. The odd squid down there as well. So obviously they're moved in chasing the garries. So worth throwing a squid jig out at the moment down off Shoal Bay Wharf. There'll be a few tailored down there after dark if the garries have moved in there as well. So a quick snapshot of the estuary, fishing pretty well at the moment. Now, beaches and rocks. This weekend's going to be interesting. We've got a howling nor'easter on Saturday, switching to a southerly overnight. So if you're going to go and fish the rocks and beaches, I suggest you sort of fish Saturday. It'll fish a bit better in the morning before that northerly really kicks in. So it'd be worth a shot on the beaches, those northern corners, Samurai, Fingal, places like that. There's still plenty of whiting on the beaches at the moment. And like I said, I think this weekend with that sou'wester coming through, that southerly, it'll sort of signal the start of the mullet run for this time of year, I reckon. So get your big plastics ready. Those panic stations will be the go in the 8-inch, because there will be mulloway off the beach, and good ones at this time of year, that is for sure. And big tailer off the beaches at the moment too. Getting back into the rock fishing now, yes, longtails, they have been off the rocks. I spoke to Dave yesterday, showed me a quick little video. Nice little longtail, probably around about 12 kilos he caught off the front of Fingal there. Live baiting, so there was a patch of fish move through. So longtail starting to appear off the rocks at the moment. The odd cobia as well. We'll speak about that in a second, but the odd cobia off the rocks. And you'd expect that at this time of year. The only thing that's going to kill it this weekend, I think, is that southerly moving through. But those protected areas in the southern corners might be worth a shot, like 1 mile point, places like that. So rock fishing will be good. Once the swell abates, it'll be really good to go and throw a bait or two for a snapper as well. Water's still warm, around about 22 degrees off the rocks at the moment. So definitely worth a shot off the rocks. Bonito, Taylor, the odd kingy as well, if you want to have a spin off the rocks at the moment. Now, moving into the offshore, some really good fishing this week. I tell you what, I weighed a really nice cobia, which we'll throw up on our social media. We weighed that fish 23 kilos for Andy, absolute cracker. Caught it on his own as well on one of our local cuttlefish that we sell here in the shop. So floating down a cuttlefish in the washes, managed himself a 23 kilo cobia as well. So some good codes around at the moment. I've heard of a few others caught this week as well. Jack was jigging, micro jigging on some reef and caught a really nice one as well. So cobes are about, longtails are about, a few nice snapper as well. So some good reds caught this week. And the other big thing is there's lots of sharks. Lots and lots of sharks. I was up at the Big Gibber during the week, and spinner whalers. So I haven't seen those for a long time, but spinner whalers and other critters there at the moment. But it means that there's plenty of bait, which there was. There's plenty of bait around, which means there's plenty of predator activity. As far as the inshore black marlin are concerned, there are a couple about. It is getting to the end of the season, unfortunately, with the black marlin, but there are a couple about. I saw a gentleman on his 47 Riviera fight one on his own. I'll tell you what, he did really well to fight that fish on his own, going around and around in circles around his boat, but he did pretty well, 50 kilo black marlin on his own. So there are still a couple about if you're keen to do that thing. The current out wide is still pushing down hard. Hopefully Sudley might slow it up a little bit if it's hard to say. If we get some sort of altimetry, if we get some sort of upwelling, that current backs off, it will happen on the shelf because the water is that good that we will find that we will get a late season striped marlin bite and blue marlin bite as well. So definitely keen on that. The fad, there is dolphin fish on the fad. Whether you get to that this weekend is going to be another story with that howling nor'easter. Supposed to get 30 knots offshore Saturday and then switch around to the south on Sunday. So not really conducive to fish wide on the weekend. You'll probably get Saturday morning in, especially around the islands up towards Broughton, and I think once it comes away in the afternoon, it's going to be pretty solid. So see what that forecast does into Saturday. So some good fishing all in all. It's just the weekend, unfortunately, is not looking the best. It'll be okay in the bay. We'll have to wait. I think it backs off pretty quick, that southerly. Once we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, it does look pretty glamour out there, and it'll push some warm water back in on the inshore. Anyway, quick report this week. That's it. Enjoy your weekend. Coming, boys, fishing gear.